listening to Culture Uncut.
First of all, I know the Colts were very interested in Jalen Phillips, and they had him matched with Kwity Paye for most of the draft all season. But once the Colts did their due diligence on him and his background, he was off the Colts board. So was Kwity Paye or nothing at that point.
With the 21st pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Kwity Paye, defensive end, Michigan.
He got a home run hitter in the backfield, and it only takes one handoff to change the game. He gave it to him, and the rest is history 67 yards later, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Hands off to Taylor. Taylor, big run! He's at the 45, 50, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor, 67 yards to the house!
And here's your host, Jason Spears.
Well, it happened. The fan base can rejoice, at least the part of the fan base that wanted to see Joe Flacco play. I was not one of those people, and I'm still not one of those people. I think this is the wrong decision to bench Anthony Richardson, but here we are. This is Culture Uncut. I'm your host, Jason Spears, and in a shocking development, the Colts have benched Anthony Richardson and given the starting job to Joe Flacco going into Sunday night's game versus the Minnesota Vikings on the road. I have a lot of things to say about this. First and foremost, I think this is specifically due to the tap-out play, and I have no defense of that. That was not the right move for Anthony. From the tap-out to his excuse afterward, all of that is optically bad. It reflects poor on your character, and it reflects poor character to your teammates. So I don't have a defense for that. What I would have hoped would have been done at the time that would have made this situation easier and more palatable is he taps out, Shane grabs him and says, Are you hurt? And he says, no, I'm tired. And Shane says, well, if you're tired, sit your ass on the bench, and then you bring in Flacco. That's how if you want accountability, that not only gives you a chance to win the game, that's the time to do it, to hold a player accountable right then. This just seems like revisionist history to me. Okay, well now that everybody's pissed and all the outside noise is around and people are calling for, Anthony Richardson's head and the Colts are getting dogged and, he's getting dogged and all this. Okay, now we're going to bench him. We're going to bench him. We're not quitting on him, even though that's literally what you're doing. But, we're going to give him a time to step back and, and watch and grow from all this, right? So what was he doing last year? Was did that step back when he was injured help? It certainly looks like it made him worse. So I don't know, man. First of all, I just think this is just dysfunction all around. I don't know if this is Irsay, probably, but I don't know. I just don't understand this because even if, and I guess this is what the plan is. I don't know how this can be the plan because it's just destined to fail. But even if he plays the rest of the year, we're back at square one next year, right? Well, Flacco plays the rest of the year. We're back at square one with Richardson next year. And what happens when he comes out? Because he's going to be a lot less confident. He's going to play like, oh shit, the first mistake I make, I'm going to get benched. That is how he's going to play, and that's not going to win the Colts any games. He's going to turn the ball over more than he has this year because he's going to be so nervous to make a mistake, and that's when guys make mistakes. So you're killing his confidence, okay? Out the gate, his confidence is low. Now it's non-existent, right? So he's done for this year unless Flacco gets hurt. You bring him back next year because you still believe in him. We're going to go through this bullshit again next year. And who knows who the backup's going to be next year. So, I mean, people are acting like this is, having heard some of the things that have been said, I thought it was a wrap. I thought that this was it and he's done now. Like, because that only makes sense to me. You basically quit on your number 4 pick and tapped out after asking for patience. And that was a nice little word play thing I just did. But you asked for patience, and most people didn't have any. I did, and then you bench him, which I disagree with. And now next year, we're going to go through this same bullshit again. And again, Anthony Richardson did not play well, but it wasn't just Anthony Richardson that wasn't playing well. The O-line did not play well. Steichen called the game like Peyton Manning was his quarterback. It just, none of it fit together. None of it was mechanical. It just looked dysfunctional, like this organization. Our offense it was just dysfunctional. That's as simple as I can make it. Everything's dysfunctional right now with this team. I don't know how much Flacco is going to make a difference. It will help him to have Jonathan Taylor back there. But I am so tired of BandAids and shit for this team. It's just every stinking year we go through this. And you knew that this kid was going to be a project. It was not going to happen overnight. I wish that they would have given him more of an opportunity to run more and play his game to his strength, which right now is his ability to run. That's what the Ravens did with Lamar his first year. That's what he did with Jalen Hurts a lot his first year. Why, in the second year, why are we trying to make him a pocket passer? He's not that. He's not even close to that. And now you're benching him. What is he going to learn from? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what he can possibly learn through sitting on his ass. I don't think much. I just don't. And based on what I hear, we're going to go through this again next year. He's going to be the quarterback. Ballard's going to be the GM. Steichen's going to be the head coach, and we're just going to start this thing over again next year. And it's just going to be the same. He's going to struggle. People are going to want the backup. It's just never ending with this team. Never ending. I can't enjoy anything. I can't even count on them to try to develop a young player because they have no patience or ability to develop a player. Like, he's getting worse. He was better last year. Everybody has a hand in this. It's not just Richardson. It's everybody. Because he was much better last year when he played than he's been this year. So it's demoralizing to me. I know most are the fan base is celebrating, and my mentions are all about him tapping out and losing respect of his teammates. Well, the only way he's going to gain respect of his teammates is to go out there and make some changes and win some games. It's not going to happen sitting on his ass on the bench. How's that going to gain his teammates' respect? That's not going to happen. He can't gain it back that way, unless he works super hard and everybody sees it, but they're in the middle of the season, man. They're not going to be paying attention to that. I mean, and how can he be a cap? Now you stripping him of his captainship too. You might as well do that too. Second string captain tapping out. I would have done that immediately, but I'll be interested to see if he's still a captain. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just frustrated with this organization. We are nowhere near a Super Bowl. We're so far away from a Super Bowl, and there are actually people in that building, I think, that believe this team can make a run at a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. And I think those people are smoking some serious crack cocaine, because that is not going to happen. The best case scenario here is Joe Flacco plays the rest of the season and we get a wild card berth and get smoked in the first round. Yay! We can hang a banner for wild card, being in the wild card round and losing by 20. Yay! That's so great. Let's get excited about it. I mean, honestly, like, people cannot see the forest for the trees with this friggin' organization. And now I'm starting to think the organization can't see the forest for the trees, because you're just setting everything back. Everything is being set back. Now we're going to start over a third time. Year 1, year 2, we're starting over. Year 3, we're starting over again. And I just think it's stupid. You need to play the kid and find out what he has. He's not going to learn with sitting on the bench watching a professional play. It doesn't affect him. He's still got to go play his game. Joe Flacco's game and his game are totally different. It's insane. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say anymore. I love the Colts. I want them to win. I want them to win every game. That's all I care about. But we have no long-term solution and haven't since 2019 at quarterback. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. 6 years of no long-term, and next year it'll be 7. Still no long-term answer at quarterback. I'm so sick of this shit, man. And people are so excited about Joe Flacco. Oh, Joe Flacco's going to lead us to the promised land. He might lead us to a wild card berth. Whoop-dee-doo. We will play one extra game, we'll get smoked, and we'll go home, and our young quarterback will have not developed in one iota this entire year. So you quit on him after what, 10 games? That's real nice, fellas. Real great, West 56th. I love it. Can't wait to see what you got in store for 2024 or 2025 when he doesn't play well the first 4 games or whatever. And what are you going to... I can't wait to see the backup's going to be because everybody's going to be crying for that guy. And then we'll win just enough games to not be able to pick a quarterback in 2026. That's what this team does. The stupidest possible thing that this organization can do is always the answer. You know? Well, Phillip Rivers is retiring. You know, we signed Phillip Rivers. Let's not draft a quarterback. Let's not draft, Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts. Let's trade for a 3-tech. So in 2021, we trade for Carson Wentz. I mean, we just dumb decision. And then it's Matt Ryan, the corpse of Matt Ryan, the corpse of Nick Foles. Had to have those guys. And then we get a young guy, finally a young player, in 10 games. You give him 10 fucking games. That's it. Now, I'm not excusing the tapping out shit. I have no defense for that. He made a mistake that I don't know that can be undone. I don't know. The only way that you can undo that mistake is to work your ass off, lose weight, get in the best shape of your life, go out there and be the guy they drafted. That's got to be his mindset, right? But again, how does he trust anyone in this organization now? He's going to be playing football on eggshells if he comes back next year and plays. Because he knows, I've been benched once before. It could very easily happen again. So he's going to play. He's not going to be playing aggressive. That's for sure. He's going to be playing not to make a mistake. And what happens when you do that? You get hurt. You make mistakes. And then before you know it, your career's over. So this is, like, everybody celebrate. This is a horrible day for the Colts organization. Horrible. You can try to spin it any way you want. But in my mind, this is a disaster, a terrible decision, and is going to set this organization back. Because we're going to now probably be picking in the middle of the first round because he's going to win just enough games either to make the playoffs as a wild card team to play one extra game, or we're going to barely miss by one game. It's always that way with these type of players. It was that way with Carson. It was that way with Gardner. It'll be that way with Flacco. Flacco is not Jesus in cleats, guys. People are acting like this guy is the greatest quarterback in the league. He played 2.5 games. That's it. Yes, he played great in the fourth quarter of the Jacksonville game. And the rest of the time, he was okay. He was better than Richardson. But is that hard to be at this point? It's like if Shane was calling plays for Joe Flacco to run quarterback power and get outside. Like, they're not asking Joe Flacco to do things he's not capable of, but they asked a 22-year-old kid to do things he's not capable of over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And when he couldn't do it, they benched him. That's insane. The offense, and yet all off season to plan this offense around this kid. And it should have been 65-35 or 60-40 run. The identity of this team should be a physical, smash-mouth, running football team with explosive plays off of the run. That's what it should have been. That's not what it is. I don't know what the thinking was to try to go a different direction this year, but Shane was wrong. He messed that up. He called a far better game for Richardson his rookie year than he did this year. And I'll never understand why he changed, but it essentially cost Richardson his job because they were asking him to do something that he's not capable of, and now Joe Flacco will go, and Shane, I'm sure, will coach to his strengths and not ask him to do things that he can't do. And I just don't understand that. Why wouldn't you do that with the guy you drafted 4 overall? It doesn't make sense. None of it makes any sense to me. So I mean, I'll root for him to win or whatever, but this is a bad day. They're just in trouble, man. I don't know. I'm sure the players are probably happy to an extent because they think they have a better chance to win, but when they realize they're going to be back next year and they're going to have to go through this again, I don't know how happy they're going to be. But I guess we'll see. Because I do think he's coming back. I think Ballard and Steichen will be back. I think we're going to go through this all again next year, like Groundhog's Day, the definition of insanity, all that stuff. So that's my thoughts on it. Obviously, I'm disappointed. I really believe this is completely over the tap out. I think that's what this is all about. I don't think it's about his play. And again, if that was the case, they should have benched him when he did it. If it was that big of a deal to them, they should have benched him when he did it. He should have said, okay, you're tired, get your ass on the bench and put Flacco in and kept him in for the rest of the game and then explained it to the media afterwards. You don't tap out here. We're not about that. It would have been a much different story and a much different narrative. But here we are. So anyway, everybody wanted my reaction. That is my reaction. Obviously, again, I'm not happy about it, but there's nothing I can do about it other than, root for the Colts. Despite how dysfunctional and stupid I think this is. I just hate it on every level. Because now it's mitigating any chance Richardson had of being the guy we thought he could be. It's decreasing whatever small chance most of you thought he could be good, it's even smaller now. So, with that, I'm going to wrap up this short emergency podcast. This has been Culture Uncut with me, Jason Spears. I'll be back to talk about I don't know. I might do a Q&A later in the week. If not, I'll be back after the Vikings game late Sunday night to go over that game. It should be interesting because they are definitely going to blitz us into oblivion. I just hope Joe Flacco does not get killed. So I hope everybody has a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you guys soon.